Okay, we are live, Ross.
All right, welcome everybody to Down the Rabbit Hole. We are here again, and we're going to once again kind of start where we left off on Thursday. All right, welcome everybody to Down the Rabbit Hole. A little bit of feedback there.
No, it's right back at you, man. That's what you did for me the other day. Really? That's the YouTube stream.
Okay. So I found something that I thought was a little interesting this morning, and it's by Henry Van Dyke, and it goes like this. It goes, time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, and too short for those who rejoice. But for those who love, time is eternity.
How sweet, how lovely. Please put it in the chat. I like it.
I will.
It's beautiful.
And this is very powerful because all of those are all about how our emotions and are affecting our comprehension of time.
Yeah, and I think, it's, you think of time, right, as one of those experiences that we all have, right? You could even say that it's one of those invisible networks that connects us all.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't exist and not have an experience of time, right? It's by nature a part of existence. It's omnipresent, right? It's everywhere. Like, Gene is experiencing time on that side of the world, and we're experiencing time on this side of the world.
But whose time is the right time?
Exactly, right. And there's no.
And you are right there.
That's right. And Sanzo, I'm not sure where you're from, but you're welcome to jump in whenever you want. You're experiencing time from where you are, and it didn't require, to travel through. Like there's no gap. But time is there. It's there. It's always there, right? And so everyone experiences it all the time, no matter where you are or when you exist.
Correct.
Right? And they say, seize the day. It's as if it's something you could hold on to, but to remember that it's not even, and it's not a physical thing or object.
And there's a lot of people who talk about that time is a man-made structure. It's created by man, and time is not created by man.
No, you hit my
measurement of time.
Exactly, a clock, right? A clock is invented to try to measure it, right?
Correct.
But do they really? You got to ask, because what a clock measures is not time. It measures how we relate with the physical world.
That's correct.
Right? If you look at a clock and it's 1:15, and then again at 1:20, it's an apparent measure of time, of 5 minutes of time, right? But between those glances, you interacted with the world around you and the things around you, right? And if nothing happened, there would be no need for time measurement as we know it. Right?
Correct. And if you look at some of the tribes that have not been influenced by modern technology, they don't have a concept of time. Their language doesn't even have anything to do with time.
They measure the passions of something, but not the way we do. That's why I say it's not the way we've been conditioned to in the civilized world, right? Because if we try to imagine an entire, and I've done this, so it's not easy to do.
It's real.
But if you try to imagine a universe to be entirely empty of all physical things, right? If you tried to mention that it's empty of all physical things, and then ask yourself whether time would still flow or not.
Right.
Could we have a universe without time, right? And, while, we're so conditioned to it being a part of reality, there's a part of it that says, yeah, well, there would be time, but not if there's nothing. Because remember, if it's empty, there's nothing in it. If there's truly nothing in it, then nothing can be happening. Nothing can be occurring. So nothing needs to be measured.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And, and so when you have all the yogis out there and the spiritual masters and stuff, and they're getting to this meditation of this place of no thingness, what they're trying to do is transcend time.
They're trying to
transcend time. They're trying to go beyond time itself, because they're in a place where no thing exists.
I see.
Hey, Gary, just a quick comment. Do you have us streaming on the page?
On YouTube. Remember, we're switching.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask a question? I think, no doubt we are conditioned, but then it's also part of the rotation of the earth, right? So when the rotation of the movement of the earth is moving, we have night and we have day. So then that sort of gives us that kind of feeling of the measure of time, because it goes dark and then it goes bright.
Well, it's not what it doesn't give us really a measurement of time. It gives us a measurement of things happening. Time itself is what we've labeled it.
I agree with you, but the illusion, okay, it's an illusion, but then there is dark and then there's bright. So when it's dark, we have this feeling that, oh, it's time to sleep when it's bright. So we have been conditioned through the years. So who is to say that night means you have to sleep, but we have been conditioned to it, and day means you wake up to do things.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of handle that? That belief that we have been brought up.
Well, I think I think through evolution as human species, we've conditioned ourselves to be, what's the opposite of nocturnal? Whatever the opposite of nocturnal is. We've conditioned ourselves to respond to the light and to interact with it because of survival mechanisms or whatever that we developed and evolved over the years. Because there are plenty of species that have the opposite, right? So, just because we as humans do it one way doesn't mean it's we've talked about this before, our egotistical human mind says, well, that's the right way. But no, and over when we talk now, if we're thinking about energetics, what you're talking about is more of our natural, what's called circadian rhythm. It's a rhythm of the universe that we've tapped into as human beings, that says that, oh, okay, when there's a certain time frame where our body needs to rest, recuperate, and rejuvenate, and so we follow that, and it happened to be in alignment with things that aren't stimulating us, which is daylight.
And I also like to ask the question to get more clarity on what you have gone through. Very interesting episode 54. You were mentioning that Einstein believed we are dead for trillions of years and we have not been born yet. So that when I went through that statement of yours when you were talking, I would like to understand more that we are not born yet, and that we have been dead for trillions of years, and of course that that everything that happens to you, if you can get the right perspective of the universe, then you could see it all at once. So which means that the part of not being born and being dead, I don't quite understand. But the part of that if we are into the universe, the past, the present, and even the future is like fused into one, which is the present of now. Is that what you are trying to say?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Everything is happening on one. So think of it as you have three rivers running side by side: the past, the present, and the future, and all those rivers are running at the same time.
Yeah. But what does Einstein mean that, that we are dead for trillions of years and you have not been born yet? That one I don't quite understand.
Because everything happens at the exact same time. So it's almost your Schrodinger's cat, but it's where everything is happening right now. The past is happening now, the present's happening right now, and the future's happening right now. If we go off of the theory of the block universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all happening. So on one river you haven't been born, on one river you're here, and another river you died.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Because I can see you and you can see me, so we are alive in the present now. Is it?
That's it. Yeah, because then it's like last week, right? Last week there was one version where I showed up on time and one version where I didn't.
That, exactly. So if you think of the example that we use, the letter that he wrote to his friend's wife, where he's explaining that, yes, here now, my friend, your husband died, but also here now, your husband, my friend, is still alive on the same plane, but in a different parallel universe. He's still alive. He didn't die. So one small change in that particular universe, he didn't die.
That's very interesting.
So now you have 3 more rivers running side by side, and then in the next universe you have 3 more rivers running side by side.
Yeah, but that's the next question I want to ask you, Ross. That means that even we die, we don't die. We just go to another dimension.
Yeah, so think of it like the way I think of it is like I think it's like do you know the game Hot Potato?
No.
So Hot Potato is where you play this game where you have this like a rock or some kind of object, and you kind of toss it between one another, and it's like, who's going to hold it, right? You don't want to be caught with the hot potato, right? Okay. And so if you think of your spirit being this entity, this energy, this thingness, I mean, the best description we can give it is an energy, I guess, or vibration. It's playing hot potato with reality. It's like, let me try that one, let me try that one, let me try that one, let me try that one. And it's doing this all the time, right? Let me try what death like, let me try living's like, let me try both, let me try, and it's trying all these different experiences. But it's doing it like Ross says, doing it at such a rate and such incremental differences that you consciously don't have the capacity to be aware of it, because it's too far beyond your conscious capacity to hold all those micro changes. Remember, your mind, they say your conscious mind, and I like to, because all the years I've worked with people, I think that it's not an accurate statement, but the statement out there is that your conscious mind can only maintain anywhere between 7 plus or 2 minus bits of information at any given time. Meaning that if you go beyond 9 bits of information, it's too much. If you go below, it doesn't care about it. So it's between 5 and 9 bits of information at any given time. Okay. And when you think of that, and the reason I don't believe it is because I think that's more for an untrained conscious mind. I think if you train your conscious mind, you can expand that capacity. Right, and you train it through meditation. You train it through inner work and expansion, building your awareness, and all those kinds of things. Right, and so you become. And here's an example. So when I used to train martial arts, you get to at certain times, if you train long enough, and sometimes maybe not, in length of time may not be the variable, but what happens is you get into a state where in our studio, we called it holistic awareness. And holistic awareness is where you get into the zone where you tap into the opponent that's in front of you, and then you bring everything in your awareness into that experience. So you're experiencing what's going on with them, you're experiencing what's going on behind you, experiencing what's going on in the whole environment that you're at, and you maintain that for the duration of that sparring experience. Right? And you're fully conscious of it. So when you know, in our school, when you got to higher levels of training, you had to do these sparring matches with multiple people, right? So at certain levels, you know, you're one person in a confined space, and there's 4 opponents, and you've got to be aware of all of them all the time and stay safe keep yourself safe. Or if depending on the test that you're going on, you would attack, and you'd have to take care of all of them while being aware of the others at the same time. Right? So your capacity can increase, but I think even within that, there's levels of awareness. There was an awareness drill. I'm trying to think of where, and I'm not sure if it's through hypnosis training, or I can't remember what the training was from, but a drill where we would expand our awareness. Right? So what we would do is, and I've done some of this with you guys on some of the streams already, where you put your attention on one thing, and then you become aware of the space between you and that thing. And then once you bring your awareness between the space of you and that thing, then you hold that awareness, and then you expand your awareness to the thing behind you, the biggest object behind you, the door or wall or whatever, and you maintain that. So you're in the middle of those 2 things. But then what you do is you can then expand it right to left, top to bottom. Right? So everything on top to the ceiling, everything to the right, everything to the left, everything behind you, everything below you. And you start to expand your awareness of all the things that are happening in time. And when you do this, here's the cool thing, right? So when you do this in martial arts, and this is a common experience for people who get into this state, when you do it, the person who's coming to you seems like slow. It's like you're like, whatever. It's like they look like they're going in such slow motion because you're aware of all the micro movements of time, right? And it's when people say they slow time down, like when you're in an accident, right? Or if you're in an accident, it's like things slow because your awareness goes, how do I stay alive? What do I need to be aware of? And you hold it all for that moment, and then things just slow right down, right? And so you know, the thing that we call time, and we have where it's this incremental tick 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 tick, is not the same for everyone.
And that's interesting. So can we say that actually there's no time? It's just that and time cannot be measured, and time that is measured like the clock, it's just man created it in order to create efficiency and what we're going to do and how we can calculate the time.
And to give meaning to things, right? And to give meaning to things. Yeah.
Correct. So we're not saying that the measurement of time is a bad thing. However, we have become so accustomed to that we've lost a lot of our own senses. We've covered up, or we haven't lost them, but they're very subdued. You know, animals don't wear watches. They don't have iPhones and such, and they survive quite well.
Yeah.
So
and my dog knows when to go to sleep and when to wake up.
Exactly. You know, now granted, going off of what Gary is saying, when we're talking about our circadian rhythms, there is a reason, obviously, a survival mechanism of why most animals are awake during the day. And that's to stay alive, to forage for food, to see what is around them, to see danger and sense danger. But there are animals that have adapted to the nighttime, and because it's actually easier for them to prey on the ones who are asleep. And I just read a study last week where they were talking about the time frame of prehistoric man from when they went from sleeping in the trees to sleeping on the ground. And the natural assumption is there's a reason they went from the trees to the ground, and it was fire. That was the same time that they created fire. So they created an artificial daytime, and the fire kept the predators away. But they still went to sleep at night, but because they had the safety of a fire in most cases. So that is, when we look at who we are now and the abilities that we have, they were created for a reason. And as technology, and if we become more accustomed, when we have light bulbs, and now we have cars, and now we have GPS, and now, so we're like, well, I don't need these, nature senses anymore. And so they're subdued. They're just like, man, we don't use them, so they're kind of subdued. And that's what we were talking about, not last week, but the week before. Our nature's technology that we're imbued with, and our inability to realize that they're even there, again, because technology and the advancements that we've made, which I'm not putting them down, have made they're irrelevant until all of a sudden we lose it all, and then we're going to kind of go, what do we do?
Yeah, one more question to ask regarding what you have thought. Is that you say that Einstein said that there's no past, there's no future, there's only the now.
Correct.
I mean, we had this feeling that we have lived. When I was growing up, that was my past. Mm-hmm. Of course, my future is not there. And in Eckhart Tolle, he says that everything is in the power of now. And that I can understand, the power of now. Yeah, but and that now is more important because now is what's real. But then there is also a past. But Einstein, so long time ago, he's so smart already, he said that there is no past and there's no future. Okay, so that means there is only the now. Then what about the past? When we were young. So what is that? I'm trying to get terms to that. I do not know whether Maria and all feel that as well, but I felt that, when I was growing up.
But okay, so let's go back to what we were just talking about. Okay. Yes. What year was it in the past? And then who created that year?
When I was born.
Correct. Do my dogs have a past? I have a past for my dogs, but do my dogs have a past? Because they don't have that measurement.
That we know of.
That we know of, exactly.
When they were born?
Yeah.
They exist. I'm trying to get to terms with that. What happens, I know about the power of now, and living in the now is very important because that's what matters. But when you tell me there's no past, I'm trying to get to terms that.
We're not saying there's no past. It was not what we're saying.
There's still that river.
Yeah, there is a past, but what we're saying is it's not as solidified as you think it is. What we're saying is that there's variations and there's versions of that past that are different from what you're actually holding on to right now, because in this moment, you need that particular past to justify and confirm who you are in this moment. And so when you change in this moment, your past has to change also to align with that new you in the moment. And again, it's happening at such micro levels, you wouldn't consciously be aware of it. So if you think of, so if the change is the only constant, we're always changing, always. There is no not changing that's happening anywhere for anyone ever. Right? The mere fact that something is happening means change had occurred. Okay. So with every word that you hear, every word that you say, every action that you take, every breath that you take, every thought that you have, you've changed completely. Because if you think of yourself like an equation, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, it equals a certain number, equals you, right? So if we were just to kind of break it down to a simple example, let's say you was the equivalent of 1 plus 2 plus 3 times 1 times 4 times 6 times 2, and this equation that creates you, right? Anytime you change any of the variables, the end result changes. It can't not. Do you understand that? So if we keep it simple, it says 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6, right? So if at any time I change any of those first variables from either the quotient of 1 or the way it interrelates with 2 or the way it interrelates with 3, I get a different answer. So if Gary is the number 4, and at some point in Gary's experience, the equation changed from, instead of 1 plus 2 plus 3, it becomes 2 plus 2 plus 3. Now Gary's changed because one of the variables has changed. Now you think of trillions of variables that have created you. There's no way you would know that the change occurred because it's so many. But we're changing all the time.
I can accept the change. Yes, I can accept the change because we change all the time, every moment, every day, every second, we're changing based on our thought patterns and all that. That I can accept. But I still remember when I was born, when I was young.
Yeah, because and you remember a version of it, right? You're remembering a version of it, and that's okay. Again, it's there's nothing wrong with having a memory or having a history, because so answer this then, okay? If you're remembering that memory of you back then when you were whatever age, right? You can only remember that by recreating it in the now. So we can't confirm that it actually happened. You can only confirm it in the now as a potential past that I had, because right now is all you can justify and confirm is actually real. So we make up this story, like, you know, in this remember in the 7 days training that you did, right? The art of designing your reality. We have these different mirrors of reality. Well, you have this theme of who you're going to be, and then you create a story that fits within that theme of your spiritual self. And part of that story is the backstory, but it's still just a story, right? Go ahead, Ross.
Let me go off of the idea that Einstein was portraying, because I think this is where your question is lying the most. About 15 years ago, a group of us went to Italy, and we rented a really nice little villa in a little town called Montezzi, and it was awesome. It was just beautiful. So the third day there, my son-in-law got up in the morning and he tells us the story. And the story was that he goes, I don't know what happened. He goes, but I saw a ghost last night. And so he's telling me this story, and he goes, it was like I was watching a movie. And I was in the exact same room. And he goes, something just woke me up. His senses just woke him up. Something was amiss. So, again, we have our internal senses, which the body senses some sort of danger or something is off. So you need to wake up to protect yourself. So anyhow, he woke up and he says, this woman was in my room and she was going about her business, and she was wearing very, very old-fashioned type of garment. And she was just kind of going about, and he goes, and I was just watching her. And I couldn't interact with her. He goes, I wasn't dreaming. He goes, I know I wasn't dreaming. He goes, and it was so real. I was just literally sitting in the bed watching this woman going about that very same room. He wasn't in another city. He wasn't in anything like that. He was just watching her moving through this. He goes, as clear as day. So what happened? Okay. And I'm just like, okay, he's like, do you believe me? I'm like, of course I believe you. So what happened in that case? And we all have to erase all the stuff we've seen on TV and in the movies, please. The river of time. You have the river of the past, you have the river of the present, and you have the river of the future. What happened was the river of the past intersected with his river of the now. And then they separated. For whatever reason, we don't know why, but they overlapped. And that's really what ghosts are. They're not what you see on TV. They're not evil. They're not anything. They're just simply an intersection of two rivers of time, because they're all running. So this is what Einstein is saying. So this past is happening at the same time as this present, and they just whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. And if you take the future, I can't contort my fingers quite right, but so all of these rivers are running together. And in this case, this one intersected for just a couple of minutes. It just intersected. And, if people say, well, there's more ghosts in this area and there's more ghosts. That's very, very possible that there are the barriers between the two rivers are thinner in particular areas across the planet. There's gravitational barriers that are different across the planet. There's all kinds of different things that are different across the planet. Now, everything is not as we see it or as we feel it where we're at. It's different. And that's why these stories are so fascinating.
Here's another twist on that, though, right? So now, right, who's to say that woman wasn't having an experience like, hey, there was this guy sleeping in my bed last night. And telling her friends about it.
That's kind of weird.
It was futuristic. It was kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't recall if he actually said that she saw him or reacted to him. But nevertheless, that's what Einstein is saying is all of the past, the present, they're all running right now. They're running together. That's how time works. And this is a physicist. This is a quantum physicist going, this is how it works.
And there's been plenty of people that have confirmed that. It's not
yes,
just
absolutely. This isn't just
not alone
his idea. We can go into, there is a lot of different science that they've done that is saying that, time travel per se is possible. Okay. Because they can prove it on a quantum level. It's fascinating. It would take up half the day to try to explain it to you, but it's very, very complicated. But they're saying if we can do it on the quantum level, that means we can do it on the bigger level as well. We just don't know how.
How exactly? Yeah,
that's all.
Okay, that's all interesting, and maybe the next thing that you need to put out is to study. To let us discuss, and you guys come up with a concept. Why are we here on Earth?
To experience.
We are all energy. All right. We are all energy, and
we're all conscious energy. Correct.
Why are we all here?
To learn.
Do you want to know why you are here?
Yeah, well, I think that there's that's an individual journey. We couldn't really be the ones to say that this is why per se, because that would just come from our filters and our biases and our perception. Even if in the exploration we all come to the same answer, which my guess is we would, it would still have to be an individual experience to take that journey to discover and find that out. And I think at the core, a lot of us have that, right? And if well, all of us have that, but some of us are more tuned to it and some aren't, where there's this deep sense of knowing what our purpose is. It's one of those questions: who am I, what is another, and what is life? I mean, those three questions are huge, huge, huge journeys, right? And we're always in search of those. And so then we create these mechanisms like time or illusion of it, like memories or illusion of it, like experience or illusion of it, to start to try to give some meaning to one of those three questions.
But okay, maybe I'm asking the question out of the context. Maybe it's another time, because
Right.
of course there is a reason for us to be physically being here, to do more than, as what you said, to be more than what we think we are. And then to me, I feel is to do more than what we think we can do. Yeah, to be of service beyond. So maybe we're given a chance here to provide a better journey for our soul, to provide a better journey to become a better being. We are given the opportunity and the chance to live here on this earth to become better. So then that when you go to the other dimension, I guess maybe then you will be on a higher level. Maybe that's only my own logical mind.
Yeah, it's a different level. May not necessarily be higher in the sense of hierarchy. It's just a different level, right?
Uh-huh.
So maybe that's why we are here to experience it. And I like the way Bruce Lipton says that, if we are all physical force and we have this body, is to have the five senses and to taste it well, so that he can taste chocolate. He said he can taste chocolate, and for us is to taste all the nice spicy food. Yeah. So maybe we have this this beautiful body of ours to experience and enjoy our full senses, and to embrace, enjoy Earth.
Yeah.
To enjoy everything, to sort of
exactly.
fully exploit our possibilities, our abilities to the max. And also we also have to ensure that whatever we do, we should do it with love and gratitude.
So here's the thing, though, and I would align with that and agree with that, but I think that also discounts, Jean, that so the way I see it is that we are an experience that all that is, whatever you call it, God, Buddha, whatever your name for it is, all that is that exists. We are individual experiences of a different point of infinity. Right? We're all a different point of infinity, experiencing all that we can in that. So in saying that, there's some people where their experience of infinity is the total darkness of infinity. And there's still value in that, because that's what their experience is. Because for them to choose that spirit, or that part of the all that is, it creates that, so that it becomes a reflection for us, for example, to say, well, maybe that's something I prefer not to do. So they work together, right? So I think that it's not just all butterflies and unicorns. I don't think that's necessarily it. I think we need to also include the part of it where, as a part of a human species, we seem to be, for some reason, in this version of reality, on this version of the earth, we seem to be mastering the art of negativity. Okay.
The art is very good.
So that,
and we've done a very good job.
We're doing a very good job of it. So that, but we're mastering it so well that we're understanding all the nuances of it, so that as a collective consciousness, we can prove to ourselves that we're so powerful, we're so great, that negativity, we are beyond that. We can find ourselves out of it, no matter how dark it is.
Yes, and maybe that's why, Gary and Ross, why you are in this is because you need your purpose in life. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but one of your purpose is to get people out of negativity, because it's so simple to get out of negativity, but as you say, maybe they want to live in that negativity. They need to go through that negativity.
We want to give them choice. It's not that we want to get them out of anything, because then we're dictators. We're not interested in that. But we are interested in giving people choice.
The choice.
Right? We're interested in giving people choice.
Right. So because a lot of people, they feel that they're stuck. It's like, I'm stuck in this, I can't. And it's like, well, you can, you have a choice. And when we were talking about the, the coin, you're going to use that energy regardless. You're going to use the energy. So are you going to use the energy of the side of the negativity, or are you going to use the side of the positivity? It's just a choice of which direction you want to use that energy in.
Yeah. Or are you going to walk the rim of the coin and not be affected by either? Right. Because there's also that option too. Right.
Right. Well, but either way, though, the rim is the choice place, but you're going to still expel the energy. So where's the energy going to go? And a lot of people really, really, really don't think that they have a choice. And the way that things are designed is that they don't feel they have a choice, and they feel that they are unworthy, or they feel that they are negative and woe is me. It's just like that. The way that everything works is that, like attracts like. Period. They will just pull more of that into their lives. We all know the people, or that one person or whatever, that things just keep happening to them. And there's a reason why things just keep happening to them. And not to discount the life, excuse me, or the upbringing that they've had, but nevertheless, though, they've got to sit on that rim and go, what's going on?
Yeah, they're choosing. They're continuing to choose to recreate a memory that justifies whatever they're feeling, or the emotion that they're going through or experiencing, right? And if you take that same analogy, so if you have the rim of the coin is being the choice, you have this one or that one, right? Well, what if in that choice point you say, well, let me add more choices. So now you have two coins and there's these choices, right? Now you're expanding, and they say, what if I have another choice? And then so what we want to do is give people all these different choice options. Know that it's not just this or that, it's this and that and that, and there's all these other ones too that could be potentially there. And that's just one dimension. I mean, that's just
exactly. This is what we were explaining yesterday or Thursday. And such that, let's say that coin is here, and now you have all these other different segments that you can choose from. It's like, instead of remaining on this path, you go, I'm going to just go over here, and then I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go over here. Yeah. And such. And if our consciousness allows that.
Yeah. And if you do enough of those shifts and alterations, right, Gene, what happens is you then you become conscious of the new you that you're stepping into. And when you become conscious of the new you you're stepping into, all the memories that don't serve that, you forget them. You don't even think about them. They don't become a part of your conscious recollection.
Very true. Gary, I agree with you, because I'm living that part of what you just say is absolutely true. Yeah. It doesn't matter anymore. It just disappears.
It's just like it's not even a part of your conversation anymore, because it just, those things just are not a part of who you are, right? So what we're saying is that that's a choice, right? You can choose to do the opposite. You can choose to do, because the mind does not know the difference between something real or vividly imagined. If you vividly imagine a past that's different from what you have, that's what you'll think you had. They call it false memory syndrome. I mean, it happens all the time.
Now that moment will come where, as we said, that the subconscious mind doesn't like change. So now you've consciously made those shifts and such, and they're for the better, but you can shift back. But your training is going to make you aware that this just happened.
And I would say it's not necessarily the conscious mind doesn't like change, Ross. It doesn't like change that will question the conscious mind's concept of who it is.
Correct.
Right? Because change is happening all the time. It can't not, I mean, it's one of those things. But when the change is too drastic or too big or too shift or too fast, then the conscious mind or the ego part of you starts to question who you are. That's a dangerous place because it's not in alignment for survival.
Correct.
Thank you. Yeah.
But that awareness, as we raise our vibration, that awareness allows us to be aware, to sense it, like something just happened, something just changed and such. And then you're like, oh, I need to go back. But now going back to the path that you prefer is easier.
Familiar. Yeah.
It's familiar. It's easier. It's just like, oh, okay, I know. You already have a roadmap now. Okay, I just have to do a little bit of this, and then I'll get back into it. But something pulled you back. It could be a memory popped up, or it could be a survival instinct. It could be, many different things. Not that they're bad. It's like it just happened, and you revel in yourself, going, "Ha ha! I figured it. I sensed that."
Yeah.
And such, and then it's harder to go back. It's harder to get.
And it could be just as simple as changing a definition, right? We talk about that all the time. It could be as simple as that, right? When I did hypnosis. One of the things that I believe made a huge shift for the clients that I worked with was changing the definition of who they believe themselves to be to have that problem.
Which we talk about extensively for the last year.
Yeah, right.
It's all about your definitions.
Totally, right. And so, for example, if we use someone who smokes cigarettes, right? Well, they would come in with the identity, I am a smoker. Well, how the hell are you going to get rid of a behavior if that's a part of your identity? Right? So the first thing that needs to change is the identity. You need to let go of that identity and say, no, that's not even true. I didn't come out of the womb with a stick in my mouth. So I'm a clean air breather. That's my natural source of who I am. I have this behavior of smoking, but it's not who I am. Naturally who I am, and in fact, who I am more time than I am the person who smokes is someone who breathes clean air, because I'm not smoking when I'm sleeping. I'm not smoking when I'm doing I'm only smoking windows of time. Right? So if it's something that you're not, if it's not something you're doing all the time, then how could it be who you are? Right? So and you have to actually, there's a process that needs to happen, thought-wise, emotion-wise, physical-wise, to actually do that action of smoking. You have to buy the damn things. You have to store them. You have to have something to light it. You have to take it out of the package. You have to there's a whole freaking orchestra of things that needs to happen for that. How is that who you are? So when we start to question who you are for the identity that you have, the limited identity, and you say, oh no, I'm a clean air breather. Once you own that I'm a clean air breather, then smoking is no longer needed. It's still a choice, but it's no longer needed.
Very good.
Right? And that's just a definition. That's not even, and then the memories will start to shift to align with, oh yeah, you start to remember more of the incidences where, yeah, I'm a clean air breather. Shoot, I get up in the morning, I breathe clean air. Wow, okay, I get out of the shower, I have clean breather. You get more of those as references to confirm who you are in the now.
That's a very good for smokers to know that. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing for anything. I did for weight loss too. Instead of I'm fat, I'm heavy, I'm overweight. No. You are a naturally healthy, fit person. You just need to get back to those patterns and behaviors to confirm that. That's it. And whatever the number on the scale is, it's irrelevant as long as you're healthy, natural, and that you're whatever's ideal for your body.
Beautifully said. I think definition. To the 7 days I learned about your definition. I really like that. The words, the phrases, the definition, the questions, and asking right questions. So these are fantastic, everyday things that we do, but we didn't realize and define it in that way. Yeah. And when we define it, it's so powerful. It's very, very powerful. Simple,
and we at the same time we have to start questioning ourselves of, is this my definition or is this somebody else's definition? Going to the weight loss. Okay, what is the ideal body? There is not an ideal body. It's your body.
Yeah.
What is ideal for you? What part of your body or condition of your body makes you feel your best?
Yeah.
And such. This is the big thing that we see in the media. This is the problem that is really erupting with teenage kids, especially girls. It was bad a few years ago with magazines and such, but it's even worse now with social media, as where they're given this what they think is a projection of the ideal, and they're like, I can't maintain, or I can't even get to that point, and then it destroys their self-esteem and their confidence, and then you have just a horrible epidemic of teenagers who are just like, I can't measure up.
And that definition piece, I mean, it goes with so many things. I mean, it's not just the physical thing. It's
virtually,
it's like,
correct.
I'm depressed. Well, no, depression is not who you are. It's what you do, and you do it very well. So be good, but it's a skill you've developed that nobody else can do the way you do. Or, you think about it, there's so many things, right? That we own the identity after we've developed some behaviors, or we see someone who has an identity and those behaviors come along with it, and then we try to emulate those, and they're not real or true to who we are.
Okay, can I ask you another question related to time? Okay,
sure.
Let's say we are here and we have this beautiful body to enjoy life to the fullest on earth. And when it's time to go, of course, we want to live to the fullest so that we have this body to enjoy and feel the senses. But when we are ready to go, and because now there's more and more of this saying it, the spiritual, the quantum physics and so forth, is that we don't really die. Only our body decay, go back to earth, but correct. Our spirit is going to somewhere else.
Your energy, yes.
To hear your views, yeah.
So you did clarify that, is that, there is a difference, in my opinion, of the death of the body and the death of the spirit. And then you can call the spirit anything you want and such. You can call it energy, you can call it spirit, you can call it soul, you can call it, whatever you would like. That's fine and such. So our bodies are just simply, a container, not even a container per se. As we've talked about before, we are just a transceiver. We're just a mechanism to allow that energy to, what's the word I'm looking for? To animate itself, to animate what it wants to experience. And it has the body has a lifespan. It has and it can only go for so long. We have just discovered that it can go much longer than we thought.
Yeah,
but,
so I was going to say, as it's our perception, right? Because yeah,
exactly. So so then that energy is going to go virtually back into the universe. And possibly, it's going to go into another experience on another dimension. And there's theories and philosophies that say, if that energy, if that spirit, if that soul has achieved what its initial intention was, then it will move on. If not, it'll recycle itself and start again.
Yeah, it's like Ross and I were talking about. We were talking yesterday in one of our meetings that think of it like it's like a maze, right? You get in, you didn't get it right. Dang it! Okay, I got to go beginning again. Dang it!
Back to the beginning. Exactly. So so this goes back to the question you asked before: is why are we here? to experience, to
It's
learn,
to find
to
your way
grow.
through the maze and experience all of it. Absolutely.
Right.
And then when you get through the maze, guess what? There's another maze because it's infinite. It doesn't end by definition.
You know, they've already confirmed that there are parallel universes. So do we go to another parallel universe? Do we go to a dimension that's higher, which, you know, could or could not be considered a parallel universe? It could be considered a different dimension and such. And because now we have achieved a particular, let's say, a vibrational frequency, we have grown ourselves so much. It's just like, okay, you're going to be in a whole different realm now. Are we going to know it when we're there? I don't have an answer for you on that one. But it's going to be something different. It's going to be a completely new experience. And you know, is there an ultimate goal to achieve complete, you know, reunion with, you know, the universal consciousness, which we're constantly tapping into? It's like, I want to be part of that guy. So, you know, there was a theory that I read.
That comes from the idea and the concept that we're not already a part of it. And that's, again, the definition is like,
well, that's actually where I was just going,
Yeah.
is that there was a theory that I read a few weeks ago, is that when they're talking about the Big Bang, it wasn't a Big Bang of material substance. It was a Big Bang of consciousness. And that Big Bang exploded, or for the lack of a better term, exploded, and all these energy pieces, as we are calling them, spiritual souls, shattered out and have been trying to find their way back and reunite themselves.
Yeah,
that's called the singularity.
Yeah,
that's a variation on the theme of the singularity, is that we're going to reunite with the all that is.
And that comes from us as individuals starting to get more of the awareness that we are not separate from it already. We are already a part of it, and coming to agreement on that. And then that singularity moment can then happen. But when there's so many that are disconnected or feel disconnected, you know, by media, by, you know, we're going to talk about next week, fears, you know, all these different things and conditioning, and, you know, all the messages that when there's so many souls or selves that have these illusion that they're not connected, they need to get back to that. And when you do, and that's again part of what we're doing, is giving people choice to know that it's not a this or that, it's a this and that. It's all inclusive, and to accept that, then the singularity moment can happen, where all of a sudden we all just jump into this other new experience, and has its own purpose, its own reasons, own ups and downs and flows, and those kinds of things will happen. But that's also happening all the time too. We're just not aware.
Right. So if you step back, you know, and get that 10,000 foot view, you know, what our society in general is already trying to do is somehow connect to each other. We have this internal yearning for connection.
Yeah.
We're just talking about on a different level.
Yeah, even those people pushing a negative narrative, they're trying to connect.
Right.
At the core, they're trying to connect. They're trying to create these connections, even if it's what we perceive to be a negative narrative.
And in their way, they're like, I'm going to find people of like minds.
Of like energy. Yeah.
There's so many different versions or variations of like minds. So, you know, your tribes and your cliques and your, you know, whatever, your groupies and your influencers and all that kind of stuff and such. Oh, they're like me, so I want to be part of that. Everybody wants to be part of a group, part of a movement.
And it's hard to be whole when you're always a part of something else.
Read my mind. He always does. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I like, Gary, the one you say about the maze, you know, So if you haven't feel what you are supposed to fulfill, you will go into the infinite maze.
Yep.
Until
Yeah,
you
just wait till wait until we do a live event.
until we fulfill our goals, then we can move on to another dimension. Okay, that is acceptable. You know, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but since we're here and since we're expelling energy here, let's make that choice and make that going in the direction that best serves us. Okay, on a energetic level, on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
It's a beautiful experience, yes, and also creating the awareness, and as you say, giving choices for people to experience the awareness, and where do they want to go? It's up to them. It's true, but to be able to do what you are doing and to give clarity that there is this other choices. Yeah. I think it's a wonderful experience. Yeah. Yes, Martha.
It's evening tonight.
Yes, Maria.
Too much dark in my room. You can see where
Yeah, you kind of went out there for a minute.
it's getting dark and dark. Oh my God, where I am.
You slipped into a different universe and came back.
Yeah. You must have gone to extraterritorial territory and came back. Yeah. Nice to see you, Maria.
Nice to see you too.
So that's our rabbit hole for today. It was a good check. Thanks for jumping on, Sherry. And I hopefully next time you feel comfortable enough to jump on and play along with us and kind of shift and alter the rabbit holes that we go through. We're welcome to you coming back and joining us on the next one and future ones as well.
Fantastic. Yes.
And for you ladies, thanks for being here, and we will reconvene on next stream.
Thank you both too, Gary.
Thank you very much.
Ross, thank you. And see you, Maria and Sherry. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye,
Have a great day. Thank you very much. See you all.